Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about finding local vendors and also online vendors, and also show you guys some clips of one of my favorite local vendors in Chicago. So stay tuned for this video. I'm going to be inserting like clips and stuff from a vendor that I really like in Chicago, but I'm also going to be answering some questions that you guys had regarding finding local vendors and also my opinion on online vendors versus local vendors. Of course, this is only going to be for Illinois, specifically for Chicago nail technicians, because this is my area, this is where I'm at, this is where I'm located. So depending on where you live, things may vary, things may be different, but regarding nail techs that are here in Illinois, in the Chicago area or suburbs, you guys are definitely going to enjoy this video. I've been getting a lot of questions regarding finding local vendors here in Illinois that I really like. I have noticed living here in the state of Illinois versus Nevada, where I'm also licensed, I've noticed here in Illinois that there aren't a lot of vendors here that have or sell a lot of nail art. And that is totally not the case if you are in the Chicago area or if you are in the Chicago spectrum, like if you're in the northern suburbs or south. There's this store called, I can't pronounce it. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm going to insert the clip right here showing you guys the name of the vendor. I'm going to look up the name, but I always go to this vendor in Chicago. They're off of Broadway or Broadview. They're kind of north of downtown, but I will insert everything in the description box regarding this particular vendor. This particular vendor that is in Chicago downtown is open to the public. So if you aren't licensed, if you are self-taught, if you're doing stuff low-key, this is a great place for you to go to. If you are licensed, they do give you discounts if you are licensed. You just have to ask. So just tell them like, hey, I'm licensed, and they typically will give you a discount, even though they are open to the public and they do have fraction prices, like fraction because they purchase wholesale. If you are a license, there's perks of being licensed. You do get a discount. You just have to ask. You just have to ask people at the front and just be like, hey, I'm licensed. This is my license. I'm from this state. If you are visiting or whatever, if you are local, show them your license and tell them, hey, I'm licensed. Is there any discounts? What are the products that have discounts? And they will show you where everything is, what's discounted, prices, and things like that. So this is a great vendor to check out in the Chicago area. Also, regarding finding local vendors, I don't just go to this local vendor in Chicago. I go to a couple of vendors that are also in my area that I live in the northern suburbs. And I also go to some other stores that are in the Chicago area, but they're more so on the west side. They have Sam's Beauty Supply that is off of North Avenue, and I believe First. I'm not really for sure. I'll put it in the description, but there is Sam's Beauty. And also, if you didn't know, this is a perk as well for people that are licensed professionals. We get 20% off at Sam's Beauty on North Avenue in Melrose Park. So that goes for nail supplies, that goes for hair, that goes for anything in Sam's Beauty Supplies. If you are licensed, you get 20% off. Sam's Beauty Supply in Chicago off of North Avenue. It is in the Melrose Park area, maybe like 20 minutes from the downtown area. You guys will get a 20% off if you are licensed. If you aren't licensed, they do still have pretty good supplies and things like that at a reasonable price. Not as good as the first vendor that I mentioned in this video, but they do give you a variety of supplies, starter stuff. They sell pedicure bowls and things like that in that salon. In that store. Also with these vendors that I am mentioning in this video, they do have for nails. I've noticed this. You are not able to return items that you purchase. So when you buy something, if you're going into the store, just know like I cannot return this when it comes to these local vendors. So that is something I have noticed with my local vendors, at least in the Cook County vicinity in Chicago area. in the suburbs that are close to Chicago, I've noticed that on the receipts that it says like no, like all sales are final. So that is something to look out for when you are looking at your local vendors, especially in Chicago. Look out for that and see like, okay, make sure that you actually want to purchase what you're purchasing, so you know like, hey, I can't bring this back. They do, a lot of these vendors that I am naming, they do sell, you know, stuff that they probably shouldn't be selling, but it is what it is. They sell what they sell. So you just have to make sure that you are buying the correct products and that you know what you are purchasing, because once you purchase it, there is no returns at all with these vendors. So I've just named 2 vendors here in Chicago, Illinois. I do, like I said, have other vendors where I live where I may buy little stuff from like cuticle oil, or I may buy certain stuff from particular vendors where, you know, with other vendors, I may buy particular stuff with them. So this place, I may buy my acrylics and my monomer, versus this other vendor, I may buy my files and things like that. I sometimes do buy stuff online from wholesale companies as well as Amazon. Now, when it comes to Amazon is fine when you are starting off, or excuse me, if you really need supplies like ASAP and you cannot get into your vendor for whatever reason, or you just really need something or want to try something, Amazon is the go-to. But I do feel with Amazon, I don't really think that they are completely how should I put it? I don't feel like you should use Amazon completely overall for all of your supplies and stuff, because a lot of people do sell things third party on Amazon. Sometimes you're not buying things directly from Amazon. Sometimes you may find something like tips, nail tips. It'll be the same exact nail tips, but because another vendor is selling it, the price may be $4 or $5 of difference, and you notice it on the 6th page versus the 3rd page, where the more expensive ones, where you could have just got them for like $5 cheaper on, you know, with a different vendor on Amazon. Same tips, different vendor, third party, different prices, versus what I've noticed with my vendor. You know, they are buying wholesale, and on top of that, they have a lot of stock as well within their supplies, so their prices don't really change too frequently compared to with Amazon. And on top of that, having local vendors that you work with, you start building relationships with those people. With both of the vendors that I spoke of in this video, I go there so often that the people that actually own the place, they actually know who I am. They call me Nails. But building a relationship with those vendors, you sometimes get discounts, you sometimes, you know, get shout outs. You may sometimes get them to say like, hey, we're gonna probably have like a demo or something here. You get information, you get insight. So I feel like when you have a connection with your vendor locally, with people that you're getting your supplies from, you kind of build a relationship, and you can ask them like, hey, when are you guys getting shipments? When are you guys getting the supplies? And they'll be more willing to talk to you because they know that you're a returning customer and that you're always coming in. So I have noticed that with those 2 vendors, going back there all the time, they start telling me like, hey, we have this stuff coming in, you want to try this. They become more friendly, and you start building a business relationship with those vendors, versus on Amazon, you may be buying these tips from this one vendor and you may have bought 5 times, but they personally do not know you or look at you. You're just a shopper, so they may not, you know, value that price that you bought it for before, but because you are a returning customer like a vendor, they may say like, hey, okay, you always be buying me, so yes, we went up on the price, but I will value the price that you gave, that we sold it to you before, because you're always coming in. When it comes to my certain vendors, lately I've been noticing I go to my nail vendor in Chicago. I go there pretty much every other day, picking up more supplies, building up more of my supplies in my stock, but I'm just running out of stuff more frequently because I'm servicing a lot of clientele. So they'll know, okay, we need to buy more of this because this person buys more of this stuff. So I just feel like having a good relationship with your local vendor, you guys can simply just Google nail supplies, nail shop supplies, nail art supplies, and you can find a whole bunch of vendors. Like I said, I know in Illinois it's really hard to find really good nail art supply stores, so sometimes you do need to resort to online. But if you do just a simple Google search, and you look up nail art supplies or nail supply stores, you'll be able to find your vendors. In Las Vegas, Nevada, you guys have so many places to choose from when it comes to nail art. Like I said, one of the reasons why I moved here to Illinois is because they don't really have the style of nails that I personally like to do like they do on the West Coast, and I wanted to bring my style here. So out west, you guys can find so many nail art supply stores, so many places and vendors to go to with a variety of prices and people to that sell so many different things. But here in Illinois, I have noticed that it is very limited here. So you do have to do an extensive search on finding your vendors, but mostly going on Google and searching nail supply stores. That's really helped, and just going out and scouting these areas and these vendors and talking to the owners, seeing when they get shipment, seeing their prices, seeing if you get a discount as a licensed professional. Like, that does help with your local vendors. I don't particularly stick with online or in person. I use wherever I can find the best price for whatever I'm buying for